Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fashion Business Unfiltered. Today's episode is number 6 in our 10-part series, and I'm very excited about today's topic as it's what Scene and Style was born for. We are going to be talking about Fashion Week reality checks. Worth it or waste of money? I can't wait to get into it. So I will just do our quick intros. Today's episode is sponsored by Queenia. This gorgeous, I would stand up. Oh, maybe I can. Isn't this the most gorgeous little cutesy dress? It's so silky soft. I love it. Excited to wear it for spring. Going to incorporate a couple things and another piece this evening at a fashionably late event. Super excited. June 6th, people. The first ever Boston Fashion Summit will be at the School of Fashion Design from 12 to 7 p.m. It's going to be a super exciting day. We have a ton of breakout sessions going on. We have amazing panelists, great speakers, David Joseph, Melina, Lala B, like the list goes on and on and on. We have Hiba. Can't wait for her to talk to you guys about social media creation. We have a wonderful day planned. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be such a great time. June 6th, save the date. School of Fashion Design, Boston. Be there. Learn about your business, people. Learn about your business. Okay. Oh, Saturday, Valerie, love you. Already have FOMO that I got to miss your show. But Performer will be there. Good old Robert Paris will be there. Valerie Bruno is holding a charity fashion show called Beyond the Runway at the Great Wolf Lodge by Originally Crafted Events. So Valerie always puts on a wonderful show. I know some amazing designers are going to be there. Go check it out. And tonight's Journey magazine will be at Fashionably Late featuring BOGO Split now. All right, see you later, Kayla. So Leah K Productions, BOGO Split, Journey magazine, lots happening at the Liberty tonight. That'll start at 7:30. I'm super excited that I was able to connect Bob and Val, who we love, at the for Fashionably Late tonight. It's going to be a super fun time. I know Performer is going to be on site as well. Scene and Style. And Andrew Dunn Photography, talked to you early. See you tonight too. So I'm sure the night is just going to be jam-packed. Definitely something you want to check out for sure. And okay, let's hop on into it. Shout out to my intern, Katie, who's back from Ireland. She's amazing. I love watching her grow because each episode she does the research for, she gets a little more into it. And I can see that this topic got her as much as it's going to get me. So again, Fashion Week reality check. Is it worth it or a waste of money? That is a loaded question, my fashion friends. Or are we fashion professionals? How are you dealing with this subject? How do you approach Fashion Weeks? Well, we'll get into that a little bit. So let's go over Katie's actual research that she found when it comes to numbers, which are super important. So the average cost of a fashion show at New York Fashion Week is $300,000 to $400,000 or more. Now we are talking again about real fashion designers, not fashion friends who had some little runway party in the bottom of a restaurant. That is not a fashion show. That is a gathering. All right, regional Fashion Week participation costs. So as a designer, what are your expenses going into just the show? You got to remember, you got to book your hotel room if you're not local. You have food expenses, travel expenses. You got to start keeping those tallied up. But just entering the show, period. So New York Fashion Week independent designers are usually charged anywhere between $1,500 and $25,000, again, depending on the level of show you're doing. There is Gucci, and then there's Runway 7, who we love. They have their own fashion platform that's open. I don't know if anyone knows what Runway 7 is. It's a 4-day long during Fashion Week in New York, and they have probably, I think, like 8 designers a day, and it's just literally from like 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. show in the beautiful Sony Hall. It's gorgeous, great platform for budding designers. However, they charge you because they are a real fashion platform. All right, so, this one's interesting. Katie, this is fun. I wonder what draw this to your attention. So Harlem Fashion Week is $250 to $1,000. Now, this is where I come in, and I love my job, and I love being seen in style. So media coverage stats for Fashion Week. We will get into what are you getting out of participating in Fashion Week after we go over Katie's numbers. So media coverage stats for Fashion Weeks. New York Fashion Week is $275 million in total media value. Concentrated leadership and taken by big brands of 71% value captured are Calvin Klein, Ralph Lauren, and Michael Kors. Those are brands. Those are big brands. And they do their marketing well too. Like you can say Calvin Klein, Ralph Lauren, and Michael Kors are more everyday type things. You can pair those with, a lot of business people go and buy these exact brands for either their dresses or even their shirts and ties type situation. But then they keep it simple. They keep it marketing. They're doing it for a reason. We'll get into it again after a bit. Gucci, Prada. Yeah, they're showing their collections, but they are creating art when they do their fashion shows. Yeah, they're huge brands that can afford to do what they're doing. However, it's not as much as a selling point for brands of that nature. They're creating art, and it's usually a beautiful presentation and a beautiful show. All right. Platform momentum is growing. Instagram has 42% share. And growth is driven by TikTok at 192% year over year. And YouTube is 184% year over year. I still say YouTube is king. I mean, I love my Instagram, but YouTube is where it's at, to be honest, because I don't like TikTok. Shh. All right, Calvin Klein has the most celebrity impact, actually, with 40%. So Paris Fashion Week. All right, Paris Fashion Week has 25.5 million mentions on social media. I'm one of them. All throughout Fashion Week, I've checked into Paris Fashion Week. I've checked into Paris Fashion Week when I'm resharing Paris Fashion Week. So I believe it. 25.5 million mentions on social media. That is crazy pants. It's beat out. Like, that is the largest. Paris Fashion Week, they check the box for big boy. They are beating out other fashion weeks. Milan has 5 million mentions. New York City has 3.8 million mentions, and London's at 2.7 million mentions. Now, as much as we all love our social media, and I rue the day for when everybody starts picking up real newspapers again. Hello, which one is this? Oh, the reality of retail. What do you know? When people start picking up real newspapers again, because if you do your numbers and your research, there's still more media exposure in physical paper. All right, traditional media mentions. Wow, Paris Fashion Week, once again, beating out everyone else with 406.3 million traditional media mentions. That is newspapers, that is commercials, anything of that nature. 4.3 million mentions. Wow. New York Fashion Week with traditional media mentions is at 38.8 million. Milan is 25.8 million, and London was 19.7 million. Wow, if you take the traditional mentions versus social media, it like beyond quadruples. So that's where you really got to take a step back and ask, who are in these seats at your fashion shows? I just read an article. Okay, we can move on. I just read an article the other day from Business of Fashion, how they are scolding influencers for getting front row seats at fashion shows because all they do is just bitch and complain. Some of them even have done interviews and admitted they're doing it for the clout. Like, are you kidding me? You need to focus on who's in the front row of your fashion shows. If it's an influencer, what are they going to do for you? Post real quick? We just went over the numbers. Where are your mentions going? The media that you are in contact with, what kind of media are they? Influencers, and if you really do your research about influencers, they're on their way out. Like, media is going back to traditional things in general. So, okay, before we get into all that again, designer testimonials. So we have a few of these Katie dug up on doing fashion shows. So runway shows are a crucial way to connect with press of all kinds, from newspapers and trade publications to bloggers and social media influencers. We always have shown with LA Fashion Council. The events are well attended and heavily photographed. Media, social media in particular, has tremendous outreach as our images can travel the world in a single tap. 'Tis true when it comes to social media. That's from Stella Prosian. Moving to the next. I often compare my runways to an album release or a movie premiere. So much design, work, and planning go into it. It's meant to be enjoyed as a complete body of work and a production like, oh wow. Okay, meant to be like a production that is truly a perfect vessel for bringing my creativity to life. All right. So, okay, sorry. This is all just very interesting. Sometimes I don't get an actual time to sit down and read Katie's stuff because I know she's so on point. My little Suffolk University intern, she is the best. I trust her. I read it over real quick before we get started. I highlight what I need to, and I get going. Okay, so last one. Unfortunately, the fashion business is very expensive, and the 10-minute runway show does not give you the return, but helps to create a media buzz. This is part of the industry, and I'm not sure if you can shy away from it when you are just starting out. Mimi Wong. Very true, Miss Mimi. How do you steer away from such an opportunity and such a largely spoken about event? Because, I mean, everyone in fashion knows everything about fashion weeks. Well, if you do your research and you really care about the products. So how can you possibly not be involved? That's a good point. But we are talking about worth it or waste of money. I believe it's worth it for the larger designers that can afford to go do that. I'm seeing way too many fashion designers that, again, don't even have websites. Like, why are you doing a fashion show at all? How are people purchasing your apparel? You don't have a storefront, you don't have a website, you don't have an Instagram store, but you're out there doing these fashion shows. Where's your return in the fashion show? How much money we just went over it. New York Fashion Week can cost anywhere between $1,500 and $25,000. Are you really going to New York Fashion Week as a business person or as a fashion friend? Those are the questions you need to be asking yourself when you're getting into these. First of all, if you're not being charged as a designer, it's not a fashion week. It's not. No one, because people that run fashion weeks, those are business focused people. They charge. They need to be charging. If you were involved with a fashion show or a fashion week and you have not been charged, you can promise yourself that you are not getting anything out of that but maybe a cool Instagram post. There's going to be no real media value that comes out of that based on the fact that if the top isn't operating like a business, it's not going to operate like a business in the middle, and it's not going to operate like a business when you hit that runway. Sure, maybe it was a beautiful show, it was fun to watch, but again, are you a fashion friend or are you a fashion professional? Questions you need to be asking yourself. You can't just walk in to a fashion show and not know who is in this front row. Don't ever sign a fashion contract where you're okay, great, I'm going to do your show. Who's in the front row? Who's in the press pit? Are there buyers here? All questions you need to be asking yourself, because let's say you pay $3,000. We're going to start here. Let's say you pay $3,000 to go do a fashion show in New York City. Great, that's awesome. What are you getting out of it? You need, before you sign that contract, you need to rebuttal them and say, excuse me, can you please send me who's going to be attending his press? What is their outreach? These are questions you're allowed to ask media-wise, because guess what? I have to answer them often because real designers ask these questions. What is your reach? What is your platforms? Those are certain things that you need to be asking because you have to get a return out of going to these fashion shows. Again, we can go as high as Gucci. Gucci does not do fashion shows to sell their brands. It's Gucci. Gucci's doing a fashion show for the art and the beauty of the presentation. Clearly they want to, get out their newest collection, their spring collection. Yes, they need to have it seen. However, it's probably already been seen because that's the world we live in today, that information and that dress was already leaked a month ago. However, point being, Gucci does not do a fashion show for looking to find out who the buyers are in the front row. That's not their concern. Gucci will sell it themselves, either on their website or at one of their store locations. Are we catching on, people? And Gucci, you can hit a button. They have an Instagram store. Those three things are super important. So when you're going to a fashion week and you're asking yourself, am I here for a good reason? It's okay. Sometimes you can tap out, just like Mimi Wong said. You can tap out. The fashion industry is a big deal, but it's expensive. Why are you should never be spending more money than you're taking in on a situation, ever, at all. You can ask, so if you do sign this contract, you can ask for the photographer's contact information. These are all things that you're allowed to ask. You don't just show up and send your stuff down the runway and say, okay, that was cool. You can even ask who the models are that are involved. If you're not bringing your own models to the show, it's more than okay to ask, who are the models? Can I see them? Clearly, this is something that designers do, but if you're not happy with the models, say no. Say no. You have to remember that this is your garment going down the runway, and it has to be perfect in your eyes and your vision. Yes, I hope these designers, I hope all of you have somebody business-oriented in your ear telling you also what needs to go down together, possibly, how to style it, because sometimes your vision isn't what's going to sell. You're trying to sell clothing to the communities. Maybe your vision isn't the same as theirs. At the end of the day, you do want it to sell, which is a beautiful thing. To enjoy your creativity of it, sure, the art, we all do. I can be guilty of it sometimes too, but it's important that you just really take a step back. Do your research. Katie found all this somewhere. I mean, I love this kid. She's fantastic. These numbers are crazy. Harlem Fashion Week. I want somebody to go to Harlem Fashion Week and report back, please. I would like to know how that goes. So it could be as little as $250. But did you pay for your hotel room? That is a great question. With the media, I love this. This is so great. With the media, it's still saying that traditional media mentions are larger than social media mentions. So traditional media would be, is there a news crew there? Like, is there a local news station there? That's an important question to ask, and that's an important question to try and target. Is there local newspaper there? Is the New York Times there? Those kind of questions you can ask, and those kinds of questions you need to find out ASAP. Because your reach is more important when you do these fashion shows based on it's going to live on for a little bit, if that makes sense. You can, it's going to live on for a little bit. Right here, see, I can pick it right up. We have the reality of retail right here. Oh, we have Made in Massachusetts right here. This was there's lots of local manufacturers in the area, by the way. Jen, School of Fashion Design, love you, Jen. See, this article was from May 30th of 2025, and yet you can pick it right up and you can read that Everett Mill Building in Lawrence, Refleece was there. They're out in Worcester. There's all kinds of, like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and read the article for you because I forgot about all this. But my point being is you can turn around and pick up newspapers for some time or even a book. Please, people, do your research. Find out if you should even be doing a fashion week. The broad strokes. If you're going to a fashion week, who are the buyers? Who's the media? Who's in the front row? Those are the 3 questions you should absolutely ask, and research the names that come back at you and say, oh, well, I don't think this person's really going to expose my brand properly. Maybe this isn't the show for me. Or, oh my God, I can't believe that media outlet's going to be there. This is awesome. I'm super excited. This is perfect. I can't wait to contact them. You should contact all these names that come back at you, and you're like, okay, great. That would be awesome. I would love to do this show. Contact the buyers before the show. Contact the media before the show. Contact them. Create a relationship, a rapport, because then they're going to notice you. When they see your stuff come down, oh yeah, that's right. They gave me a call. They were so great. I'm super excited. They're going to pay more attention. Trust me, I'll pay more attention. If I know who you are, I'm going to pay more attention. Because as it is our job to credit properly, and those things are super important. So it's something that we take seriously as writers. We want to credit things. And if I don't know who you like, I can't tell you. If I attend, I promised myself I will never attend a show ever again where I don't know the lineup of designers and I don't have their Instagram handles or I don't have their website address. I will never do a show like that again because as a writer, it disappoints myself that I can't produce, for the 3rd time, a properly written article. Media, proper. And I can't. Please, guys, at least have some sort of information out with your fashion shows as to who is what and where they are. And if you don't have a website, you are a fashion friend, not a fashion professional. I'm sorry. I can't express it enough. If your stuff is not available for sale, you're not a business person. It's just the bottom line. Okay, so those are the 3 things that you absolutely need to ask yourself when heading into a fashion week or even show, and see if this is a profitable situation for you, because it's super important, guys. It really is. We're out here, the Boston Fashion Summit coming up June 6th. We are creating and doing our way, even with the Reality of Retail panel I had. We need to be making money, people. Creativity is amazing. It's beautiful. But unless you're a multimillionaire and you're just doing this for fun, great, be a fashion friend. But do you want to be a fashion professional and this be your job? And you wake up every day saying, oh my God, I have 8 dresses to sew. But you know what? It's my job and I love it. That's where I'm hoping to get everybody to. So I hope to see all of you tonight at Fashionably Late. Should be a fun evening. And thank you guys for attending. Ciao.